ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ यज्ञेश्वराय विद्महे येसुनाथाय धीमहि तन्नो त्यागी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Offering our collective love at the divine lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri 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 Satya Sai Baba Varu. Good morning, a very good morning to my brothers and sisters in South Africa. I guess only sisters in South Africa, getting up so early in the morning and joining this class at Brahmi Muhurtam. What time is it in Johannesburg? Is 4:03 a.m. It's 4 a.m. and they are here in the class, even though I told them don't worry about joining the class. So good afternoon, good evening, Hari Om, Shalom, Sai Ram, Namaste. We are for our loving pranams to the Yajneshwara and to Sai Ishwara. Not a coincidence that the Sai Gayatri was born on a Christmas Eve. And so that when that Sai Gayatri is born within us, a Christ is born within every one of us. When the Sai Gayatri is born within us, a Christ will be born within each and every one of us. And I was wondering how many people will be there on a Christmas Eve, but you have proven me wrong again. Not bad, 40 people on the class for Nāsadīya Sūktam on Christmas Eve. This, somebody asked me the question, why Nāsadīya Sūktam in between Aruna Prishna? Huh? Why Nāsadīya Sūktam in between Aruna Prishna? I think the people who have been attending Aruna Prishna know the answer to that question. Why are we studying Nāsadīya Sūktam in between Aruna Prishna? Shama? Vaida, Vaila.
We were previous class we were talking about from the from the unmanifest to the manifest, and we also there was a mention. Uncle mentioned it also when we learned about the Nāsadīya line, the Ashwini.
Is his volume low or is my volume input? Let's see.
Sorry, I'm testing. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Sham.
Okay. Say it again one more time, Sarama.
Saram, can you hear Uncle?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. Because the previous class we were studying about the lines were explaining from the unmanifest to the manifest, and we also Uncle mentioned it when the Na Satya that does those lines when we were studying
Yes.
previously.
Asat, asat, sat, e, tatakshuhu. We were talking about these people with Christ consciousness, also called rishis, whose life is nothing but a totality of purity and in unity. And that is what we were studying about, the purity. Pavitravantah parivajamasate pitaisha pratno abhirakshati vratam mahas samudram varunastirodhade dhira ichhe kurdharuneshwarabham पवित्रन्ते विततं ब्रह्मणस्पते प्रभुर्गात्राणि पर्येषि विश्वतः अतप्ततनूर्नतदामो अश्नुते इहेहवत्स्वन्तत्समाशत ब्रह्मादेवानाम् असतत्सद्येततक्षुः. These people, these mantras that we were chanting about are called Pavitra mantras, purification mantras. Those mantras are chanted before wearing Pavitram, before a ritual. And why that and all of that, please go back and listen to the last class video so you will have a complete perspective of why we are getting into Nāsadīya Sūktam. In fact, Nāsadīya Sūktam is probably the most widely studied Sūktam amongst most of the Sūktam. It's called the hymn of creation. It's called the hymn of creation, and it appears in the 10th mandala of Rigveda. The primary aspect is the profound, it is one of the most powerful and profound cosmological hymns in the entire history of literature. And that Suktam, this Suktam addresses fundamental questions about origin of the universe. And this hymn has been extensively, commentaries have been written on this hymn by Max Muller, the famous German scholar of comparative language, religion, and mythology. And he has actually emphasized how it reflects a metaphysical inquiry into the primordial aspects of creation. And unlike the Big Bang theory or etc., it's very strictly a theology. This Suktam books have been written on this Suktam. Not only German scholar like Max Muller, Carl Sagan, an American astronomer and a planetary scientist, very often cited this hymn to highlight what a powerful system of inquiry and epistemology Vedic hymns are. Unlike most of us Indians who ourselves believe that Vedas are some blind beliefs, actually the Western philosophers never believed that. Western philosophers called Vedic hymns as epistemology. So, when you look at even spiritual giants from India, Yogi Sri Aurobindo, Swami Vivekananda have given incredible amount of commentary on this. The way I'm mentioning all those names is only to submit humbly that we won't be touching that deeply in this class to the depth of Nāsadīya Sūktam that those spiritual giants have touched. And just incredibly, I came across a beautiful symphony orchestra in which they actually sang this entire Sūktam as a symphony. And it was absolutely amazing to really see why it has touched so deeply so many Westerners, because the Abrahamic religions don't believe God as Saguna, because God is Nirguna, attributeless, formless, primordial. And because this Sukta, see, when you look at all these Suktas in the Vedic hymns, they all talk about some being or some God or something that is objectified and relatable. Therefore, there are so many suktas: Shri Sukta, Durga Sukta, Suktam, Agni Suktam, Vishnu Suktam, Vayu Suktam, Ratri Suktam, Bhagya Suktam. Every one of these suktas that we are talking about, 99% of them are something about a demigod, something that you are relatable to. And because our belief system is so much Saguna oriented, not many people will even touch Nāsadīya Sūktam to study, let alone learn. So this Sūktam, if you actually, every Sūktam is named after what phenomenon or what divine phenomenon it touches upon, right? Like we said, Vishnu, Bhu Sūktam, etc. But this Sūktam name itself is the most wondrous name. Iya means pertaining to, Nāsadīya Sūktam. Iya means that which is pertaining to. Iya Sūktam, this Sūktam which is pertaining to. Na Asat becomes Nāsat, plus Iya becomes Nāsadīya. Na is a negation, no or not. Asat is non-existence, non-being. Don't look at the word Asat as untruth. Huh? The word Asat does not mean untruth. Not Asatoma Sadgamaya means, because that doesn't mean from untruth to truth. It is not even from unreal to the real. Actually, Asat means non-being, from non-existence to existence. So na Asat iya Suktam. So this Suktam is about non-existence. If you want to continue, please. Otherwise, if you are already, your head is hurting, you can drop off. I won't blame you. Arey, what a phenomenal word that is. If it is not Asat, does that mean it is Sat? No, it is not even Sat. This is the beauty. Okay, we'll get into the meaning of the words as we get into the Suktam. And we are going to learn this Suktam, unlike most of the people who learn it this same Suktam is also present in Krishna Yajurvedam, in Taittiriya Aranyakam. But we are going to study this Suktam in Rigvedic style. So the beauty of this Suktam is that it starts with a wonder. When you ask them, have we ever contemplated on the word wonder versus a question? You wonder about something and you question about something. They're not one and the same. You understand? Huh? I wonder how many times in life we wondered, not questioned. Are we all, hello, Sairam, am I talking to myself? I hope you're all with me, no? Yeah. Have you wondered about something? Yes, Preeti, have you wondered about something? Can you tell what you wondered about something?
Yeah. Typically, when I wonder, it leads to questions, and when I question something, it leads to answers.
So, what did you wonder?
I mean, I always wonder about like creation. How did it come to existence and what was before it? But I know that there's not too many answers out there. So I wonder about it with curiosity and fascination.
Yeah, see, that's exactly this Suktam is about. Did you give that answer because the Suktam is about creation, or you joined the class because the Suktam is about creation?
I joined the class because Shyam told me to, but I was curious about it. I wanted to know more.
Okay, so there is the two words we are using. There is curious, I wonder, I'm curious, I question. They're not the same. In a mental state, they are not the same. When you wonder, there is no question. It's simply a wonder. And in that wonder, the mind is completely silent. It is stuck in this place where you're not even asking the question, you're awestruck. You're like, wow, wow. And in that wow moment, it's not that you found an answer, your mind caught something that has stilled that mind. Nāsadīya Sūktam is exactly about that state of mind which is stilled in a state of wonder. Now, most interestingly, it is a very small suktam. It's only 7 ruks. Only 7 ruks are there in this suktam. Even the rishi for this suktam is Parameshti Prajapati. Parameshti Prajapati. Prajapati is, as last class I described who the Prajapatis are and their origin, etc. Parameshti Prajapati means the first preceptor of the entire universe is called Parameshti Prajapati. And the seer or the rishi is Parameshti Prajapati. The meter is Trishtup Chandas. And the deity, the Devata, this is even a very interesting thing. Tadekam is the deity. Tat Ekam, that one is the Devata. Wondrous enough? Is it wondrous enough? Have you ever learnt a suktam where the rishi is the one? So this Nāsadīya Sūktam, Parameshti Rishihi, Trishtup Chandaha, Tadekam Devata. Okay, you can show the English version, Shyama. Are you the co-host?
Sorry, Uncle, yeah.
Okay, so most of you who already learned Rigvediya Suktams like Devi Suktam and Ratri Suktam, you will see the Swaritam is chanted differently than in Yajurvedam. Om. Okay, let's go through the words. Nāsadāsīn Nōsadāsīt
Nāsadāsīn Nōsadāsīt
Tadānīn
Tadānīn
Nāsīd Rajo
Nāsīd Rajo
No Vyoma
No Vyoma
Paro Yat.
Paro Yat.
Okay, let's just look at that first line. Om Nāsadīya Sūktam Āsīt.
Om Nāsadīya Sūktam Nāsadīya Sūktam
Tadānīn
Tadānīn
Nāsadīya
Nāsadīya
Am I off scale or you're off scale? No vyoma paroyat.
No vyoma paroyat No vyoma paroyat
Om Nāsadīya Sūktam Āsīt. Tadānīn Nāsadīya no vyoma paroyat.
Om Nāsadīya Sūktam Tadānīn Nāsadīya no vyoma paroyat
Paroyat.
Paroyat
One more time.
Okay. Om Nāsadīya Sūktam Tadānīn Nāsadīya no vyoma paroyat.
Very good. I hope all of you are also chanting, not just listening. Please chant after me so that you will also get the mantra. And until you get to pronouncing the mantra won't sink in. So one more time. Om Nāsadīya Sūktam Āsīt. Tadānīn Nāsadīya no vyoma paroyat.
Nāsadīya Sūktam Tadānīn Nāsadīya no vyoma paroyat.
One more time.
Om Nāsadīya Sūktam Tadānīn Nāsadīya no vyoma paroyat.
Kimavarivaha
Kimavarivaha
kuhakasya
Kuhakasya
sharman
Sharman
ambha kimasid.
Ambha Kimasid
gahanang gabhiram.
Gahanang Gabhiram
Kimavarivah
Kimavarivah
kuhakasya sharman
Kuhakasya Sharman
ambha kimasid.
Ambah kima asid. Ambah kima asid.
Gahanam gabhiram.
Uncle, will this be the long ha? Ha? Gaha or gaha?
Gahananga. Yeah, thank you. I chanted by default Yajurvedic style there. Okay. Gahananga bhiram.
Gahanangabhiram. Gahanangabhiram.
Kimavari vahka. Kimavari vahkuhakas yashar mannam bhah. Kima asid gahananga bhiram.
Kimavari vahkuhakasya sharmannam bhah. Kima asid gahanangabhiram.
Yeah,
Kima.
some places you can, Sherman, they take a break there so that they get a pause there. But you are chanting, okay, please go ahead. However you are chanting, yes.
Kimavari vahkuhakasya sharmannam bhah. Kima asid gahanangabhiram.
Gahanangabhi. One more time.
Kimavari vahkuhakasya sharmannam bhah. Kima asid gahanangabhiram.
Okay. So let's look at the words. Na asat asit is nasad asit. Na asat asit becomes nasadasit. Nāsadāsīt. Now the takaram, the next one is no, is actually na, u becomes no. Under the word no, there are two syllables, two words. Na, u means no. Sat asīt, sadāsīt, tadānīm, na asīt, rajaha, na u vyoma aparaha yat. Wow. Okay. This line itself will take a few hours of explanation, but don't worry, don't get scared. We'll look at this one word at a time. Na means not. Asat asit, there was non-being. So the moment you say na asat asit, asit means presence, there was at one point, tadanim, at that point means going back. We don't even know where the Rishi is going back. And it is not even time related. It is not even space related. Tadanim means at that point, at some context, there was not non-being, na asat asit. The moment we say there was no non-being, what do you think? What does the mind think? Hello. The moment you say there was no non-being, what do you think the mind will think?
It's nothing existing.
No, when you say there was no non-being, if somebody says there was no non-being at that time, what does the mind think?
There is a being.
There is a being. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point. So the moment you say there was no non-being, immediate, oh, there was being. Na u sat asit. there was also no being. Array, this is very, we'll get into that, but I'll just explain the meaning of the words. Tadanim is the first syntax. Tadanim, at some point, at some context, in some space, in some relevance, whatever it is, make out whatever it is in your mind. So that means the mind is not conditioned at all. There was no conditioning of thought. At that point where the mind is not even conditioned, na asat asit, there was no non-being. Na u, not definitely. Sat asit, there was also a being. At that point, na asit rajaha, there was no movement. Na view, na u, vyoma, there was not even sky. Aparaha yat, beyond that. Beyond that. That means there was this Tadanim, where there was no non-being, there was also no being, there was no movement, there was no space, and it was beyond everything. Okay, now what happens to your mind? Hello? What happened to your mind? What happened to your mind? Are you listening to this? What
The
happened to
grandeur,
your mind?
How
the
can such
grandeur of space.
There's no space.
There's
Something
no
immense.
space.
There's no space.
There is
Something
no
immense.
space. Now, u vyoma, there was also no space. Very clearly he's saying, now, u vyoma, no, there was no raja. Raja means movement. There was no movement whatsoever. There was no sky whatsoever. There was no non-being, but also definitely no being. Everything was beyond everything you can comprehend. Where is the mind now?
There is no mind.
Okay. That is what Nāsadīya Sūktam is actually putting you into that state. In that state. So the moment you say there was no non-being, because our mind is so used to pairs of opposites, the moment you say there was no non-being, immediately the mind will think, oh, so there was a being. So definitely the next mantra says, na u sat asit, there was also no being. There is no space. There is no time. There is absolutely, but there was a state like that, which was beyond everything. Huh? Now, once you get into that state, now here is the beauty of this. My mother used to tell me when I was a young kid, one time I asked her, she was telling me some story, and then I said, what is pralayam? I asked, what is pralayam? What is that state of pralayam? She didn't answer that question directly. She was telling me some story, and then she says, oh, pralayam was a state on which this little Krishna is sleeping on Vatapatram. Oh, in that state, there is a little fellow who is sleeping on a banyan leaf. And then immediately she said, just think of him and go to sleep. Just think of him and go to sleep. And that little thing was so stuck in my head. And when I was looking at this suktam, it was like, what is this? Do we actually experience that state or not experience? Do we go through that state? Do we, each and every one of us, we go through that state? We go through that state where there is nothing that is present. It's not that you are not present. It is also that you are present. It is that where there is absolutely no experience to even connect to, because there was no mind. There were no senses to relate to. What is that state?
Sushupti.
Sushupta. What is that?
The deep sleep.
Yes,
Deep sleep.
dreamless state of sleep.
Dreamless state of sleep. Now, you see how you're describing it? Did you watch how you're describing it? How are you describing it?
Unfortunately, this cannot be explained another, or at least
No, just watch the words, how you're explaining it.
we need
I
dream.
asked you what is Sushupti,
dreamless.
how you are explaining it? It is a dreamless sleep, is somebody said. That means, is it awakened sleep? Is it not awakened sleep? which
Anna,
is-
we realize only after we come out of that we had a deep sleep.
Okay, so what is that state then? Nāsadīya no sada asi tadanim. So it is, they're not talking about a concept. It is something you can relate to, but you have absolutely no clue, where everything is that state in which there is absolutely everything is dissolved. There is no space, there is no time, there is nothing that exists. And in that state, there is no movement either. Then what happened? Kim avarivaha. Now the questions are coming. The beauty of questioning in Vedic hymns. If you don't question, you are dead. It's only the question that keeps you awake. If you don't ask any question, know that you are a dead meat. And if you know what it is, also you are a dead meat. Kim avarivaha. Kim means what? Avarivaha, covered it. Kuha, where is it? Where was it? Kashya Sharman, what is its purpose? Was there some Ambaha?
ನಮ್ಮ ನೀರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋದು ಎತ್ಕೋ.
Amma, Sairam, please tell them I'm busy. Huh? Kim avarivaha, kuha, kasya sharman. What covered it? Where was it? What was its purpose? What actually protected it? Kasya sharman. Ambaha, kim asit. Was it present? Was there some cosmic water? Not the water as we think as Amba or Apaha, as we study in Aruna Prishna. What covered it? What protected it? Was there this cosmic water that was Gahanam, deep, and Gabhiram, dense? These are the questions that leave with the first mantra. Please chant again. Om Nāsadīya sada asi tadanim Nāsidrajo no vyo oma paro yat Kimavari kuhakasya sharma nambhak kima asid gahanam gabhiram.
Om Nāsadīya sada asit tadanin Nāsidrajo no vyoma paro yat Kimavari kuhakasya sharman nambhah kima asid gahanam gabhiram.
So this opening verse is declaring that there is this state, but let's not even call it beginning or end, because there is no time also. Why there is no time? Because there is no movement. There is no space also, therefore it cannot be related to the space. There is no identification also, therefore, whether it is because there is neither existence nor non-existence. So there is no clear distinction. There is no container. There are probably nothing, there was absolutely no substance that is present that could be comprehended. So therefore, this verse is setting the stage for a universe that is in a state of primordial ambiguity, a time before time, where conventional categories of being did not apply. If you now go back and ask the entirety of quantum that is beyond the relative, all the stuff that Einstein, etc., have put together in science as what is relative is completely challenged into this state of quantum. And this quantum is this state where all these, what we call as the phenomenal aspects, will completely merge. And modern cosmology echoes this Suktam, which is a timeless, where they actually described the state that is beyond anything that is relative. Who conceived it? How did they even come up with this state and this question? So the idea of the Big Bang, the space and time, all of them did not even, they did not even exist in this state. In fact, physicists say that time started after the Big Bang. Before that, there was no time. Who is the physicist? Is there a physicist in this audience? Okay, now even if they are, they won't open their mouth. Okay. So that state it starts with that. What is that state? Where does it exist? What was the purpose of it? How was that state even protected? Was there any material at all? We're talking about not even existence of any material. And then the next mantra goes into Na mrityurasid.
Na mrityurasid. Na mrityurasid.
Amrutan tarhi.
Amritan natarhi.
Naratriya.
Naratriya.
Anha asit praketaha.
Anha asit praketaha.
Anidavantam.
Anidavan.
Anidavatam.
Anidavatam.
Svadhaya tadekam.
Swadhaya tadekan.
Tasmad dhanyanna.
Tasmad.
Tasmad dhanyan.
Tasmad dhanyan.
Na parah kinchanasa.
Na parah kinchanasa.
Okay, let's learn this mantra. And then Na mrutyura asid.
Na mrityura asid. Na mrityura asid.
Amrutan tarhi.
Amritannatarhi. Amritannatarhi.
Naratriyam.
Naratriya. Naratriya.
Anha asit praketaha.
anha asit praketaha anha asit praketaha
न मृत्युरा आसीदमृतन्न तर्हि न रात्र्या अह्ना आसीत् प्रकेतः
न मृत्युरा आसीदमृतन्न तर्हि न मृत्युरा आसीदमृतन्न तर्हि न रात्र्या अह्ना आसीत् प्रकेतः न मृत्युरा आसीदमृतन्न तर्हि न रात्र्या अह्ना आसीत् प्रकेतः
Ani, did I go through the words on this? Yes, I did. Ani idavatam
आनीदवातम् आनीदवातम्
Swadhaya tadekan
स्वधयातदेकन् स्वधयातदेकन्
tasma adhanyanna parah
तस्माद्धन्यन्न परः
sorry adhanyanna parah. Okay, that's I chanted okay, right? Okay.
तस्माद्धन्यन्न परः तस्माद्धन्यन्न परः
Kinchana sa
किञ्चन सा
ani idavatam swadhaya tadekantasma adhanyanna parah kinchana sa
आनीदवातं आनीदवातं स्वधयातदेकन्तस्माद्धन्यन् न sorry, one more time. आनीदवातं स्वधयातदेकन् तस्माद्धन्यन्न परः किञ्चनासा आनीदवातं स्वधयातदेकन् तस्माद्धन्यन्न परः किञ्चनासा
न मृत्युरा आसीदमृतन्न तर्हि न रात्र्या अह्ना आसीत् प्रकेतः आनीदवातं स्वधया तदेकन्तस्मा आधान्यन्न परः किञ्चना सा
न मृत्युरा आसीदमृतन्न तर्हि न रात्र्या अह्ना आसीत् प्रकेतः आनीदवातं स्वधयातदेकन्तस्माद्धन्यन्न परः किञ्चनासा
Namrutyuhu. Let's look at the words. Namrutyuhu asit. Na mrityuhu asit. There was no death. Na amrutam. Nor there was immortality. Na tarhi, nor then. Praketaha. Praketa means sign. There were no signs of na asit ratrihi, that of a night. Na anha. Anha is the day. And so this first line is saying there was no death. Immediately when we say there was no death, what do you think? There is immortality. Nor there was immortality. Just like there was no non-being, that means no, there is also no being. Similarly, there was no death, nor there is immortality. Nor then there were any signs of day and night. Then how did this being exist? Anit, breathing. Avatam. Anit, avatam. Breathing without air. Vata means air. Avatam means without air. Anit. There was breathing without air. Swadhaya tat ekam. By its own power. Tasmat ha anyat na parah kinchanasa. Other than that, nothing else that is inferior to it or superior to it existed. Na paraha kinchana asa. So in essence, what this mantra is saying, there was then, tarhi means then, there was no death, nor there was immortality, nor there were any signs of night and day. And that one breathed without the wind, using its own power. There was only that one. There was no other that is inferior to it or superior to it. This is probably where we should pause. It's a very beautiful two mantras. So this second verse is presenting a reality that is completely free of dualities. There is no life, death. There is no light, darkness. There is breathing without air. It reminds me of our snoring, which is breathing without air. Okay. Then what is saying, how did it then sustain itself? Because of its own power. Without air means this is a metaphor of the cosmic singularity, and that singularity from which everything expanded, and that resonates with the scientific understanding that the universe originated from a single, extremely dense point before evolving into the vast cosmos that we observe today. Now, all of what we are talking here, these two mantras so far, are completely relatable to ourselves. There's nothing, it's not philosophy, okay? There is no philosophy here. Why there is no philosophy? Why I am saying that? Why I am saying there is no philosophy here? Sharmagar, why is there philosophy here? This is reality.
There is no logic. The origin, the Srishti itself is shrouded in mystery. That's what it's trying to say. The creation itself is shrouded in mystery.
It is not even a mystery. See, what we are in a state, is a state that is beyond the thought, where the thought doesn't even exist. And then what is that state is what they are describing.
That state is samadhi, shall we call it, sir?
It can be samadhi, it can also be not called samadhi.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Because the moment you're trying to pin down something, what are you trying to do?
We are going to relate it to something, or there is, see now, if you closely go through the background of Dhyana Yoga and Bhagavad Gita, partly certain slokas are relating to what is being talked here about. But
Yeah.
anyway, this is what the
No,
thing.
the reason why this is a profound hymn is because it is trying to take the mind to that where there is no objectification. The
Okay.
moment you try
Okay.
to put a word on something, you have objectified it.
Oh, that is not there. Okay, I got it.
The moment you put a word to something, what did you do?
You are
objectify.
getting objecting actually. Yeah.
Yes. So therefore, you are in a state where there is no thought, means there is no object.
Okay.
That is the state. The first two slokas are beautifully, as two Riks are pointing out. So hopefully we'll finish this. This weekend, Saturday, we have Devi Matyam Parayanam. I will resume on Sunday to continue to look at this Suktam. Sunday is 28th. We'll meet at 7 o'clock in the morning, California time, 8:30 in the evening, India time. Okay.
Sai Ramanna,
Yes.
if you remember the Maheshwara Sutrani, the Ai
Yeah.
one, the very first,
Ah.
I now understand why Swami asked you to ask me to come to this class, because in there I had mentioned this Suktam as the even before the which is the Brahman. And
Yes.
I didn't understand it then, but I'm going to understand it now with you. But it comes
Sairam.
even if it comes even before the one, even before the Brahman. So this Suktam will say there is nothing, yet there was something. And that yet there was something, I think, is the Brahman, the of the Maheshwara. So it's all connected like that.
Yeah, what Sister Anuradha is talking about is the entire origin of the universe happened because of the sound produced from the Dhamarukam of Maheshwara. 14 sutras, Aivun, Aruk, Evong, Aiauch, Hayavarat. In Telugu, we call Atsulu, Hallulu. Do you know why we call them Atsulu, Hallulu? Huh? Anybody knows why they call Atsulu, Hallulu? Atsulu, because all the vowels are Aivun, Aruk, Eong, Aiauch. So from A to Cha, they are called Atsu. Therefore, they are called Atsulu. From Ha to La, that is a Hallulu. See, now this is the secret of sounds. But the moment the sound came, already the universe came into existence. Here is a place where there is no sound, there is no space, there is no time, there is no being, but there is also no non-being. That is the profound, and then there is no list of opposites. There is no death, no death, no immortality, no. So it is. They're not saying no death means immediately you say, oh, there is immortality. So therefore, it's an amrutam. Natarhi, at that point, there is no time. At that point, there is also no night and the day. There are no signs of anything. SIGN, signs of anything. But there is definitely a lot of science behind this. Okay, Sairam. Let's close with the other Pada. Anybody else has any questions, comments?
Something similar to Neti Neti.
No, again.
It is not that, it is not this, it is not that.
No. What we are trying to do is, again, don't try to codify it and word it. Just be in this state of wonder. The moment you say, oh, is it that what you're doing? You lost wonder. You lost wonder. That is the beauty of this, is a state of meditation where everything is pralayam. Layam means dissolution. Pralayam means beautifully dissolved. Then where was it? How was it? Who protected it? How did... Now, when you go back to our state of deep sleep, you can ask the same questions. There was that state. Were you actually alive? No, you are not alive. Because when you are in deep sleep, if a cobra was hanging right on the top of your head, you would not have known. You would not be knowing. A tiger could have walked into the room. You would not know. So therefore, are you alive? No, you are not alive because there was no senses. Were you not alive? No, no, you were alive. Why you are alive? Because you are breathing. But do you know you are breathing? You don't know. What is that state? This is the beauty of meditation. That in that deep state where everything about the mind is completely dissolved, don't try to give it any name again. Is it this? Is it that? Okay, you understand, Prasanna?
Yes, Anna.
Just be there. Just be there. Okay? Be existing, but
Yes, sir.
also not existing. Okay, Sairam. Okay, Pawan, your question?
Yes, Sairam. Na u vyoma apara yat. Could you one more time go into that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that no, from a Sanskrit grammar point of view, the sandhi there is na u vyoma aparaha yat. So that the meaning of those words is vyoma is space, na u vyoma. The word, the syllable u is used to make it certain. Indeed, definitely, there was no vyoma, space. Aparaha yat, nothing beyond that. So why this is very important. Last week we were going from gross to subtle to subtler to the subtlest. People remember that? And how we took the example of going subtler to the subtlest. What is the subtlest you can experience with your mind? What is the subtlest you can experience with the mind? Pawan, where are you?
Oh, sorry.
I'm here, sir.
What is the subtlest you can experience with your mind?
Like stillness, like just nothing, stillness.
What is it that you experience around that is completely still?
Silence or light, I don't know. So, yeah.
Space.
Hmm.
Space is there. Space doesn't move. So that is the subtlest. So now Vyoma means, hey, Vyoma, the space is the subtlest. Now what the mantra is saying is, now Vyoma, there was definitely no space also. Aparaha yat, nothing beyond that.
So
Nothing.
in this case, what caught me, aparaha yat means nothing beyond that, right?
Yes.
That
Yat
means
means
nothing
that.
beyond that. The fact that you're saying nothing beyond that means there is that.
Yeah. So if you can even imagine what that is, which is subtler than even the space, can there be anything that is subtler than space? That which is even subtler than... This is what Bhagavan has described very beautifully. When somebody asks the question, how do we know your omnipresence? Huh? How do you know your omnipresence? Swami very beautifully explained. See, earth has 5 properties, Bangaru, and then he went down. It became a little subtle, therefore it could move, became water, became a little more subtler, therefore it can spread, therefore became fire, became even more subtler by losing its form, and therefore became wind. Even lost that smell of the wind and became even subtler than that, became the space, and even lost that vibration in the space and became me. So if you can't comprehend what is space, what is beyond that, and now if you comprehend that it was even, you will see in the forthcoming mantras that even gods did not exist in that state. So this is a state where the gods did not even exist. So what is that? Who covered it? Where did it exist? Was it the cosmic water, or what we call in science space plasma? This is why this Suktam has been a subject of study by innumerable number of scientists, astronomers, physicists. So that is what we are trying to get it. Okay, let's. Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll get into the Sharapadam brush.
Sairam Anna.
Sarah?
Yeah, Sairam.
So Anna, when Swami sings "Love is my form," right? In that he references no birth, no death, and also he says, "Truth is my breath." So is he referencing to this state?
I'll ask him next time, but I could be. Maybe he knew, maybe he did not. That also will come in the Sukta.
Okay.
Maybe he was, maybe he is not. There will be a statement like that at the end of the Suktam. Yes, Baji.
Tadekam, is that the state Anna or is the Paramatma Tattvam Anna?
Tat ekam. Tat means that, ekam means one.
That one.
That one.
Parabrahman? No.
What do you want to call it? I can call it Baji also. Tat ekam. Tadekam. Tadekanga చూస్తున్నాడు. Have you in Telugu there is an expression in Sanskritam also. Tadeka drushti. Tadeka drushti means complete focus on that one only. Tadekam. Okay. So now what I'm trying to tell you all is the mind's job function is to codify, objectify, put it in a box, look at it, all of that stuff. That's what the mind does. That's its job function. We are so identified with that mind. We are so much identified with that mind that we cannot tell it, hey, I don't have any job for you. Please be quiet. You understand? We simply cannot tell our mind, hey, sorry, you are not needed. Can you please go like that robo cleaner? Go sit in your box. When I call you, you come out and clean. Otherwise, you go sit in that box. What this Suktam is trying to tell you is, get to that state. Just can you not judge anything? Can you not look at everything as an opposite of pairs? Can you not codify everything, objectify everything in life? Can you just look at a flower and not even call it a flower? Can you simply look at the beauty of it and not, that is what's called choiceless awareness. Choiceless awareness. There is no choice made. Don't make any choice. And you naturally are in a state in your deep sleep state. You naturally go into that. Therefore, what happens? When you wake up from that deep sleep state, your entire system is totally energized because all the senses, the mind, everything has gone into that state where they are totally not doing anything. If you are able to naturally get into that state without even going into deep sleep state, then you have the infinite potential of omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence. So while this sound like philosophical, some mantra about creation and all of that stuff, the mantras are nothing to do with that, in my opinion. They are giving this profound teaching that we need to get into that state naturally and just be in that without looking at it, and perhaps not be in that as well. That's what it means. Okay, Sairam.
Now,
Then,
Anna, how to
Enapa?
prepare, Anna, how to prepare to sit in this class? Because everything we know has to be dropped. When you say there is no space, when you say there is no existence, so everything we know has to be dropped. That itself, how to prepare? I mean, theoretically, it sounds like making sense, but really sitting and thinking, how to
No, see,
prepare?
this is the other thing, right? One person asked me in one satsang, how do I surrender? The first thing you have to get rid of it is how. The second one is do. Third one is I. What remains is surrender. How do I surrender? First, there is no how in surrender. There is no do in surrender. There is no I in surrender. Just surrender. So what it is not a it is just, and you naturally have it. You naturally have it because every day for a few minutes in the deep sleep you're already experiencing that. Huh? Hello, because you have no idea what happened in the deep sleep. No, you know the deep sleep only after the fact of the deep sleep. What happened in the deep sleep? Did somebody tell you how to go into that state? Did somebody teach you, hey, let's know this is how you get into deep sleep? Did somebody teach you every day? Nobody taught you that. How did you get into that state? That is unwillingly you got into that state, but can you get into that state? Naturally. That is the idea of the whole Suktam. And then what happens is, after that will be beautiful creation. How that creation comes forth is the next set of 3-4 mantras. Only 7 riks in this beautiful Suktam. Okay. Now, Shama, Yadakshara Padam Brashta.
ॐ यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देवनारायण नमोऽस्तु ते विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व सा ईश्वर अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व सा ईश्वर अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष सा ईश्वर हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु
तिः प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्याय्येन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री